did not know he was gay, which was still possible, but Baptimus was taking place in 1974. But I'm not going to read about the main character. I'm going to read about the origins of a charismatic Jesus preacher who seduces him, or tries to seduce him, and who does happen to be of the Jewish persuasion. So this chapter is called Catastrophe, and it starts like this. From her immaculately clean and miraculously modern kitchen, Esther Mandelbaum's artificially sweetened voice rang out, "Irving!" Her son did not materialize. She bustled into the living room when she insisted on keeping perfectly neat and clutterless, as if a reporter and camera crew from Better Homes and Gardens might drop by at any moment. The boy whom she addressed was sprawled on the sofa reading a comic book. Elbows akimbo, Esther looked at him directly. "We're going out for lunch. You want to come with?" The boy glanced up at his mother. She just returned from the beauty parlor, and her stiff hair reminded him of a department store mannequin. "I might consider if you call me by my name." Esther produced a rather long theatrical sigh. "Very well, Rick." Her son's new name stuck in her throat a little. "Would you care to join the rest of the family for lunch? We're going to Cantor's." She managed a frosty little smile. She was trying. Rick didn't much like spending time with his family, but he did have a terrific case of the munchies. "Well, okay." He sat up, tossed his comic on the coffee table, and began putting on his moccasins. As his mother straightened the comic book so that it, like Life, Look, and Time magazines, was perpendicular with the edge of the table, she caught sight of the cover, which depicted a grotesque anthropomorphic beast dressed in a brightly colored leotard and cape. "Wonder Warthog," she read in a loud, careless voice. She gave Rick a disappointed look. "You're still reading superhero comics?" "It's sort of like a parody," said Rick. "It would seem to me," opined Esther, "that by the age of 18, one could simply accept that superheroes are ego-gratifying fantasy projections for insecure children and move on with one's reading material." "Mom, I asked you not to psychoanalyze me. You're not even licensed yet." "I'm not psychoanalyzing you, I'm psychoanalyzing the typical comic book reader. You, Rick, are surely more intelligent and emotionally mature than the typical comic book reader." Rick shrugged and scratched his chin. "If you say so." "And since we're going out, you'll maybe want to change your clothes, or at least put on something decent over that old shirt." This came out in a tone midway between question and command. Rick's voice turned shrill with grievance. "Do I get to tell you what to wear, or is this a one-way deal?" He loved his Jefferson Airplane t-shirt, holes and all. Esther threw up her hands, not just metaphorically as other mothers might, but physically, like someone on a TV sitcom. I know too much to ask. Monster Mommy strikes again. Forget I said anything. Wear what you like." Saul Mandelbaum strolled into the room, jangling the car keys in the pocket of his blazer. What ho, are we off?" he asked in the jaunty fake British accent he found endlessly hilarious. Rick tried to say "I guess," but accidentally swallowed the first word so that it came out "guess." "I'm to guess, am I? How droll." Saul rubbed his hands together, impersonating an aristocratic paterfamilias, playing whimsical games with his genteel family, a fantasy he nurtured since growing up on the mean streets of Brooklyn. Esther glared at her husband. "Enough, Solly, he's coming." Rose, Rick's 9-year-old sister, bounced into the room. "Aunt Sylvia called. She's going to meet us there." "Rick, sweetie," Esther's voice turned solicitous and whiny. "You wouldn't consider wearing that lovely sweater she gave you last Hanukkah. It means so much to Sylvia to see you kids enjoying her presents. It can be your good deed for the day." Rick groaned as if asked to perform one of the 7 labors of Hercules, but went into his room. A moment later, he returned clad in a yellow crew-neck sweater that clashed hideously with his and absurdly with his frayed bell-bottoms and wild mane of long curly hair. "Ooh, looking sharp," cackled Rose. "He does look sharp," said Esther, wearing a hopeful smile. "Everybody got an attractive and stylish family," said Stahl, still trying to sound upper crusty. "Now, shall we be off? The carriage awaits." Inside the Mandelbaum's cream-colored Lincoln Continental, all was cool, quiet, and calm. Saul drove jauntily, while Esther, who never let a moment go to waste since returning to school, Introduction to Abnormal Psychology textbook. In fact, Rose fidgeted while Rick watched the dull dreamscape of suburban prosperity whiz by outside the window. Everything struck him as grotesquely oversized. Big houses, big cars, big lawns, big people walking big dogs. He felt too small for such a gargantuan world. And yet his dreams were big, if somewhat incoherent. He wanted to be left alone and part of it all, treated as an equal and looked up to, a playboy and a do-gooder, a man of the people and a superstar. These contradictions made no difference ultimately because nothing was possible for him. Nothing at all. Or maybe everything was, but not quite yet. No sooner had they hit the freeway than Rose threw herself over the front of the car and turned on the radio. Staticky music blasted from the speakers. Esther turned down the volume while Rose fell back into her seat and started spastically swinging her arms up and down, her concept of dancing while screeching along with the song. Sugar, oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Rick wished he'd follow through with his fantasy of dosing his sister's breakfast cereal with downers. A small eternity later, the family walked into Cantor's, a big, unpretentious East Coast-style deli restaurant. The place was a favorite of showbiz luminaries, and everyone except Rick, who was above such things, began craning their necks hoping to see a somebody. On previous occasions, the family had spotted Shelley Winters, Buddy Hackett, Sonny Bono, and someone who might have been the guy who played Larry Tate on Bewitched. I'm getting cheesecake, announced Rose. Isn't that Artie Johnson? Stage whispered Esther, discreetly pointing at a blonde man with an impish grin. Her husband shook his head. Nuh-uh, too tall. Artie Johnson is this big. He held his hand up to his waist. It is, said Esther. She turned to Rick. Isn't that Artie Johnson? I wouldn't know, Rick replied coldly. I don't watch television. Then how did you know Artie Johnson was a TV actor? Asked Saul with a smug little smile that made Rick want to punch his face. It is Artie Johnson, declared Rose. From laughing, she started running in hyperactive little circles, chanting, Sakatumi, 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 Sakatumi. Esther stopped dead with Claire. Rose, please. A pretty young waitress came up to see the family. We'd like a booth up front, my dear, said Saul. My dear, echoed Esther in cruel imitation. The waitress led the family to a table, and everyone except Rick, sat except Rick. Directly across the aisle, in a semicircular booth, were the members of SSL, his favorite band. Despite their psychedelic wardrobe, the usual mishmash of beads, paisley, and fringe, it was hard to imagine these people producing the morbid, dirge-like acid rock for which they were notorious. They were all giggling and climbing around with their food like unsupervised children. Though starstruck, Rick felt emboldened by the general air of levity to speak with his heroes. Hey, I saw you guys open for the Electric Prunes. Servants of the Air is my favorite album. You guys are the greatest. Jonas Valak, the tall, husky lead singer, put down the pickle he'd been toying with and looked up at Rick. Hey, thanks, man. Always glad to meet a fan. The subdued, mechanical way in which he said this implied the meeting was at an end, but Rick, fueled by existential desperation, tried to keep the conversation going. I wish I had the album here for you to sign. He instantly regretted his remark as teeny bopperish. Sometimes I play along with my flute, improvising freestyle. A pair of arms grabbed Rick from behind. What the? Aunt Sylvia spun Rick around to face her. Irving, darling, how's my handsome nephew? You look wonderful, so slender. Wish I had your metabolism. Just look at food and it adheres. Oh, hey, Aunt Sylvia, I'm just talking to my friends here. I'll be right with you. I see, huffed Aunt Sylvia, offended, though when wasn't Aunt Sylvia offended? She stiffly sat down next to Rose and picked up a menu. Rick turned back to the table, but Jonas was now intently dissecting a potato pancake and would not catch his eye. Face flushed hot with shame, Rick pulled off the sweater, ugly, 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 and wedged himself into the booth with his family. Who are your friends? Asked Rose nastily. Rick, busy plotting his escape,